Welcome back, you guys. Today I want to talk about the fear of what if. The fear of what if. I mean, look, have we not all feared the fear of what if? And in so many ways. And I'm probably, honestly, a million different ways every single day we fear what if. What if XYZ happens? And it's something that I've really, really tried to take control of lately because I've realized more often than not, the what if does not happen. And if it does, it's not usually the end of the world, you know? And it's just so crazy to me thinking about this because I've realized lately the things I've overcome regarding the fear of what if, you know? And, okay, I am the type of person to blueprint out everything. Like, all of the worst case scenarios, I'm very, very calculated. I know. Calculated? I am. I like to calculate everything out. The worst case scenarios. If this happens, I will handle it by doing this. I believe that being forewarned is being forearmed. I will take this to the grave with me. Thank you. I believe that nothing can really come for your throat if you already saw it coming before it even realized that you saw it coming. You know what I mean? And if you already have a strategy for it, how is it going to hurt you? And also, I believe that it takes a thief to catch a thief a lot of times. So I think that you have to kind of delve into this stuff yourself to understand, like, okay, so if somebody wants, you know what I mean? If somebody wants to come at me in this way, then I have to understand, like, the psychology. That being said, I think that we can send ourselves into paranoia. And you will never, no matter how much you are able to overcome in this life, you will never be able to do it all. You just won't. You just won't. And I think that that's something that keeps me up at night. It does. But that is also something that I have to just be at peace with, is the fact that, you know what? Things are going to happen. Things are going, it's bound to happen. It's the cycle of life. Things are going to happen that you don't want to happen, that you never saw coming. That being said, things are going to happen that are good to you, too, that you never saw coming. If somebody had told me 5 years ago that I would be living where I'm living, doing what I'm doing, that I would be sitting here I would have laughed in their face. I would have laughed in their face. Never thought the day would come 4 years later that I would make the decision to be doing said things. Had you told me 3 months before I made that decision, I would have laughed. 3 months later, here I am making the decision. And, you know, you cannot really plan your entire life out like that. It's just not the way it works. You have to just go with the flow. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Where am I going with this? So basically, though, I just want to say, you know, that you cannot blueprint out your entire life. No matter how much you think you can, you can't. That being said, I do believe, though, in being smart about it, you know, and blueprinting the things that you can, that you have the control over. Blueprint out as much as you can. And I want to tell you that I made the absolute worst decisions that I think I could have made following my journey. I moved halfway across the country, literally, to follow my dream. And I don't want to say to anyone ever not to do that. I will hold to my grave the fact that that was the best decision I had ever made in my entire life. And truthfully, it was. I do not regret it. I have not once looked back. As bad and as hard it has been, I have not once looked back. Not once looked back. I wish that I would have approached it a bit differently. And I want to tell you guys that if you guys are thinking about moving for your dream, whether it is across the country, whether it's to a state where you know nobody, whether it's just a few, several hundred, maybe miles away, a couple hours away, to a state where you know no one, I want to tell you, be smart about it. You know, rather than boring you with the details that happened to me, I just want to explain that I think basically all of the worst decisions that I could have made happened. Moral of the story was my first day at my job. Okay, first of all, I lost my credit card, my debit card, whatever. That day at my work, somehow lost it, could not find it anywhere. So that was wonderful. Lost my card. I had no money. I had no access to money. Let's put it that way. I had no access to money. Hours later, my car died. My car died on the first day at my new job in the parking lot because I had unknowingly moved to a state that got like a lot colder than I realized in a convertible. That was my mistake right there. I looked into the temperatures. I did not notice the negative sign, I guess. I have since learned. So that being said, okay, that was not good. And then I needed, obviously, to get my car battery replaced. I had to find somebody to jumpstart my car long enough that I could make it to the bank to withdraw my money that I had in the bank. Granted, I also had only $200 in my bank account. Because, I think it was like $220 to be exact. Because I was still waiting on money to transfer from my previous town, or previous state, I should say. I was waiting on my last paycheck. Sorry, it gets even more complicated. I was waiting on my last paycheck in my previous state. So I did not close that account yet. So I had a new bank, had to transfer, or hadn't yet transferred that money over. So I only had $200 in that account to hold my bank account open. It took $100 to even hold the account at all. Otherwise, I would have to shut down that entire account. It cost me $100 to get a new car battery. So I had literally no money to spare. I think I had $20 to spare. That was it, because I had to leave $100, withdraw $120. So the $100 went to the new car battery. Had $20 left to live on for like a week. That was obviously not ideal. And I say all this to tell you, I have lived through the worst case scenario. The absolute, well, what if this happens, and then if that happens, and then the spiral starts, you know? And the odds of the spiral things actually happening are so slim. And granted, also, I never feared any of this stuff would happen. I never feared that. I thought that it was all just going to work out for me. So now that I say this out loud, I'm like, what does that say for manifestation? Like, if it just obviously, thing is, it did all work out for me. It did. It did. It not in the ways that I expected it to. But I mean, hey, I'm still here. It all worked out. And this is my takeaway here for you guys, is the fact that God forbid, the absolute worst things all happen. Even my car ended up getting into an accident. Like, somebody hit my car when it was parked just a couple days after all this. Luckily, it wasn't like to the point that I needed to get towed or anything. I still had a reliable vehicle and everything. But let me just tell you, literally the worst case scenario happened to me. And I figured it out. Living in a state not knowing a soul. Not knowing a soul. I figured it out. And I just want to say this because so many people fear that, well, what if? Yeah, what if? And then what happens? Like, and that's the thing. You fear, well, then what happens? So I want to ask you, create some type of blueprint of if XYZ, your fears, or worst case scenarios happen, what will you do in said situation? I want you to create your own blueprint that this is what I can do. And then you're good to go. I didn't have that, and yet I still figured it out. I figured it out. And you know what? It's made me a lot stronger. It has. I don't recommend going through it in the way that I did. But going through all that has made me realize, honestly, what do I have to fear anymore? What do I really have to fear anymore? If I can go through kind of on some level hell and still survive this and have something to say on the other side, I think that just makes me like a really well-faceted person who has cool stuff to say, who has cool stories, and be like, you know what? I can learn something. And I want to encourage you that if you can go into said situation with the knowledge and resources that I did not have at that time, you're going to come out a lot better ahead than even I did now, like, you know, with going through it myself. I believe learning things firsthand obviously creates a lot of knowledge. But if you can, you know, create this blueprint and be forewarned, to be forearmed before going into the said situation to begin with, you're going to come out way stronger and way smarter. So this is why I wanted to say all this stuff, to prepare you guys for whatever situation you are going into yourself or thinking about going into. I want to say too, taking the risk is so worth it. Take that risk. The biggest regrets in life that we have are the things that we did not do, are the what ifs that we did not act on. The biggest regrets that we have in life are the what ifs that we did not act on, instead of the what ifs of, what if I did do that? What if I did? What if? What if I had actually moved states, cities away, half the country away? What if I had not just stayed in my crappy hometown with the same people I grew up with my entire life? What if? What would that look like? If you guys are interested in booking a free discovery call with me, you can do so. Click the link in the description below for a free one-on-one discovery call with me to see if I could be of support to you. You can also check out my social media on almost any social media platform. You can find me at Make Waves Coach, and also check out my podcast, Make Waves Mermaid Cassandra, available every place podcasts are found. Also check out my mermaid account on almost any social media platform at Mermaid Cassandra with a K. I'm a professional mermaid if you don't know. Until next time, go out there and make waves. Mwah.